This is the way.
This is the way.
Right, so
Yes.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Minor spoilers for season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Major spoilers for season 1.
Spoiler alert.
Minor spoilers for episode 1.
Yeah.
And I'll try not to spoil the episode we just watched.
Okay. I'll try not to. I feel like we're the only ones on the net doing that right now, because I feel like the second the first episode came out, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, there was a few.
But we're going to be...
Okay, so spoilers for episode 1
Okay.
of season 2. No,
Yeah.
It's a week.
It's
an
been a
episodic
week.
Look,
That's more than enough
This is a
time.
podcast about pop culture. You should have seen this game. Right.
A week is more than enough time for Star Wars fans.
Yeah, exactly.
A week is a year to us.
If you haven't seen The Mandalorian, maybe just watch all 76 other episodes of our podcast instead.
Yeah, you can catch them all on podcasts. I mean, on podcasts.
On podcast. On Spotify and YouTube and some of the...
If you Google us...
Well, some of the really early stuff is on SoundCloud.
It is. Like, Jesus, those were the OG days.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Anyway, we're talking about spoilers. I think within 2 hours of the episode being dropped up to Disney Plus,
Yeah.
I saw a picture of the back of what we assume is Boba Fett.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know who it was, so they managed to keep that sort of like
Well, they kept it up.
held back a little bit, but
Yeah.
I knew that there was going to be a major reveal at the end of the episode.
And then it was.
And because this was in it the entire time,
Yeah.
it's not hard to deduce
Yeah.
what it was. Having said that, it didn't stop me jumping out of my seat, fist bumping like the fucking nerd that I am.
Oh man, like when that big reveal, seeing him for the first time, I actually kind of want to get into something about seeing him for the first time in I don't know, how many years? Since
1983.
Since 1983,
So
and we've
that'd
seen
be 37 years.
37 years since we've seen Boba Fett. And we were both pretty fucking ecstatic seeing him again. But what really stuck out for me was that not only did we see Boba Fett again, but we saw Boba Fett without his armor.
Yeah.
And you saw Boba Fett's face for the first time.
Now, I would like to point out,
Yeah.
we assume it's Boba Fett.
We assume it's Boba Fett.
It could be a clone.
I mean, Boba Fett is a clone.
Exactly. So it could be any of the clones.
Could be. Could be.
It
Holy shit.
could be Rex or any of the 3 that survived.
Yeah, I guess. But I think I honestly do think that it is Boba.
I think it probably is Boba Fett.
Because he's got the scarring. He made it out of the he made it out of the Sarlacc pit.
We think.
We think.
I mean, we assume.
Well,
If he's in it and it is Boba Fett, obviously he made it out of the Sarlacc pit.
yeah,
There are some theories we've thrown around.
yeah.
One that the Sarlacc pit, the crate dragon in that episode is hiding in, is the same Sarlacc pit.
Oh, really?
I would assume that would be...
I mean, it would kind of make sense.
Makes sense. If it killed
I mean,
a Sarlacc pit,
and it lives.
like
in
if
the
it
Sarlacc
killed the
pit.
Sarlacc
Yeah.
that was in it, and there's if he doesn't eat it in one go,
Yeah.
there is a chance that he escapes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You gotta assume
Because
that.
there's also got to be a reason for him not to have his armor.
Yeah. Well, I kind of and that's another thing why seeing Boba Fett without his armor is such a big deal to a lot of people. And especially in the Mandalorian TV show, you find out that the whole point of being Mandalorian is you don't show your face. Your armor is your religion. Your helmet stays on no matter what.
Correct.
So,
But
yeah,
Boba Fett is not Mandalorian.
he's not.
And I'd like to point out,
But
neither is Django.
were they just bounty hunters? No, Django was
No.
Mandalorian.
Django is Mandalorian, sort of.
Sort of.
In the same way Mando is a Mandalorian, and that he is not from Mandalore.
Yeah.
He was adopted into the thing, and
Yeah.
then becomes a bounty hunter. But he doesn't pass all of the Mandalorian stuff on to Boba Fett.
No.
He doesn't have time.
He
So to him, all this is
just armor.
is his dad's armor.
Yeah. Which also
So he's gonna want it back.
Oh yeah. And
But not
you
for the
see
same-
that. You really do see that in Fett's eyes, where he he's just watching Bando just driving across the desert, and you just see him, and you know that he's just thinking to himself, "That's my fucking helmet."
Right, so we know that. What do we know or suspect? We suspect that. We sort of know there's going to be Jedi in this.
Yeah, 100%.
This season. Right?
Yeah.
And we know that Boba Fett wants his armor back.
Yeah.
We also know that Boba Fett fucking hates Jedi.
Yeah.
So, you don't actually know what side of Boba Fett Mando is going to land on yet.
But I think it was. Someone said it to me the other day, I can't remember if it was you or somebody else, that suggested because he's got this dent in. What do you call it? He's got this dent in the helmet. Do you think he may have suffered some sort of like amnesia, like he's trying to remember who he is and all that kind of stuff? And like, I'm pretty sure, like maybe that was.
I'm pretty sure the dent is in the original.
Yeah, I think the dent is in the original, but when he I think I'm just thinking a little bit too far into it. But when he in Return of the Jedi, he smashes pretty hard into the side of that ship. So when he falls in, like he could be suffering from some sort of like memory loss and all that kind of stuff, and maybe seeing that armor, seeing another Mandalore, like seeing another armored person going across, probably made something click in his head and was like, holy shit, that's my armor. Because you got to think, if he made it out of the Sarlacc pit, why didn't he go back? Why did he get rid of his armor in the first place? And once he got rid of it, why not go back and find it? Because he was wearing, like at the end of the episode, he was wearing
a short.
He was wearing like a short, but he was wearing the same kind of clothing that the Tusken Raiders wear.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are speculating that he was with the Tusken Raiders, or he was hunting alongside them, or he was found and he was kind of like accepted into the Raiders. So maybe he was suffering from a little bit of like memory loss and he didn't remember who he was, and seeing Mando with his armor or seeing a similar looking armor kind of made everything come back.
Look, I don't think so, purely because we know the Marshal has been walking around shooting Tusken Raiders in his armor for the better part of like a decade.
Wait, how long did they say that? No, not for a decade.
Well, it's been a really fucking long time.
Well, I mean, but...
Well, we assume that he is wearing the armor...
Yeah.
So he says, right... How far past Return of the Jedi is Mando set?
I think it's like maybe... I don't even think it's a year. I think it's like a year or two. It's
I'm
just
Googling
after the fall of the Empire, because the sheriff even says... we didn't even have time to celebrate, during the fall of the Empire, before the new settlement came in.
So it could be any amount of time.
Yeah, but I can't see...
Timeline.
Huh?
Timeline.
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 Timeline. No, but I can't see it any more than like maybe 1 or 2 years after the fall of the Empire, because everything is still in shambles, because the only order in the galaxy, a totalitarian dictatorship, the only order in the galaxy fell. So everything is kind of in disarray. Like there's bounty hunters galore, pirates, scavengers, all that kind of stuff. And like that's why I think and then that's why the sheriff kind of said that we didn't have time to celebrate the fall, because immediately after another power surge happened and took the town. And that we don't know how long the Jawas had the... We don't even know how long the Jawas had the armor for. They probably had it for a good number, they probably found it like a few months after.
Yeah. I am listening to you.
Boba Fett fell into got pulled into the Sarlacc pit. But it's just one of those things, I suppose. I'm quickly running out of stuff to say.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It is. Right, so where is it?
I hope that made any sense to anybody who was listening, like either on the audio version or on the video version.
4 years.
4 years.
It's 4 years.
Okay.
So you've got to assume, right, if Boba Fett is part of the Tusken Raiders, at some point in the 4 years this guy is walking around in his armor, that he would have seen it, and that is what's going to bring his memory back, not the shiny Mando.
Well, for all we know, like, we don't even know that he was with the Raid, like, if he was with those guys, because he wasn't wearing the same sort of Raider gear.
The issue with the memory loss theory is that there is no time to explore that. Therefore, it's a wasted
theory.
It's not a wasted theory. It's a fine theory, but it's a wasted story point. If you can't spend extended amounts of time with the character not remembering who he is, then you're assuming that there was memory loss, or just telling us that there was memory loss and now he remembers. That's sweeping it under the rug.
But I kind of want to know, but then...
Because if the story was about him, and we'd been watching him be him, but not remembering who he was, and then he saw someone with his armor, and that's what triggered it, that's a payoff. If you just go, oh, the reason he didn't go for it was because he couldn't remember, that's sweeping a problem under the rug to introduce a character.
But then you got to think, why didn't he go back to get his armor? Because if because
we don't know that he's after the armor.
Oh, fair.
We're assuming he's after the armor.
Yeah.
But if he's just being a bounty hunter, he's after the child.
Yeah. Because, you make a valid point, because the armor doesn't really... I mean, it is his father's armor. But he doesn't have, like, a... But if he isn't, like, a real Mandalorian...
All it was armor.
All it was just armor. This armor made him one of the most fierce bounty hunters in the galaxy.
Yeah, because it's bulletproof.
Yeah, well, nothing gives you more fucking confidence than being literally bulletproof.
Yeah, we said that whilst watching the episode. He's like, oh yeah, no, I'll fight you. And it's just like, yeah, well, in fairness, if I had to fight somebody and I couldn't take any damage, I'd be pretty confident in that fight as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that actually kind of brings me on to another thing. A little bit off topic, but still on the same topic as Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Do you think that he is going... So you think that he's just a pure bounty hunter and he's going straight after the kid?
I think he's going after the child.
Okay. Well, I feel like everybody is going after the child at this point. Because everybody knows... Well,
we also know that Boba Fett was to some degree at least, loyal to the Empire.
Yeah.
Therefore,
they were his biggest client.
Yeah, well, that's it. So if they're still paying him...
Yeah, I suppose.
Then he's going to be more than happy to...
He's good. Yeah, it'll be. Yep.
Just hunt him down.
Well, yeah, he's a hired gun. He'll hunt down. Actually, that kind of reminds me, because now that Boba Fett is officially back, I don't say officially because we don't know.
Okay, yeah, it's safe to say.
It's safe to say that Boba Fett is officially back.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see the return of Slave One, or do you think you think we'll see Slave One again?
Yeah.
I would really like to see kind of like a
showdown.
Between the what is it? What's the name of Mando's ship? It's the Razor Crest.
Razor Crest, yeah.
And Slave One. I reckon that'd be fucking rad. Because after the episode we just saw, we know that the Razor Crest can do some really incredible maneuvering tactics.
Right. So hear me out. What if it all comes down to a fight in the rain on Kamino?
That would be cool.
It's all got to go back to home.
It's all got to go. Oh my god! What if that's one of the episodes in the upcoming season, or like in this season? You just call it home, and you.
Well, it'll be called Chapter something or other.
It'd be called Chapter something.
15.
Chapter 15.
Call on it now. Chapter 15. They're going to Kamino. They're going to have a final boss battle in the rain. What are we up to? 10? That'd be episode 7. So it could happen.
It could. I mean, it's Star Wars. Anything at this point could happen.
Yeah.
So
So what we almost know that there's a Jedi. We know that for some reason there is a shady character we assume to be Sabine Wren or someone of a Jedi origin.
Is this from the...
being played by Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Sasha Banks.
She's a wrestler.
What is it with getting wrestlers? They're not that good. I mean, they're good. They're good.
I mean, you say that, but also The Rock and Dave Bautista.
Yeah. Okay. They are good. They're good actors.
I mean, acting is what they do.
What, are you saying that wrestling's fake?
Yeah, I'm saying wrestling's fake.
You look me in the eye and you tell me that wrestling's fake.
Wrestling's fake.
For those who are listening, I looked away when he said it.
Wrestling is predetermined. Don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on wrestling. I enjoy wrestling.
Oh yeah, I know that you enjoy wrestling.
It's good stuff, but it's not real. It's scripted and it's performed very well.
So you're telling me that The Undertaker isn't actually dead?
Yes, I'm telling you that there isn't an actual fucking zombie. Guess what, John? I can see you.
Oh fuck, John Cena. Do you think he believes in? Do you think he really, like, deep down he believes when he's
he believes he's invisible?
He, like, it's like a little bit of like, method acting.
You can't see me. It's like
he does this.
Why do you think we can't see you? I'm wearing cargo shorts.
That was just how he gets into character every day. He just stares in the mirror and he just does the hand thing and he just goes, "You can't see me. My time is now." And he just repeats it over and over again.
Yes, I'd like headcanon is that's what he
does. And then John Cena comes into Mandalorian. Who would John Cena play in Mandalorian?
The Invisible Man. Some sort of camo.
He just plays a tree in the background. Oh shit.
Some sort of stealth operative.
I'm sorry, but John Cena does not do stealth. He can pretend to, but he's not a stealthy man.
But he's the Marine. Jesus Christ.
We got a little bit off track. Okay, back to Star Wars. Yeah, so there are a few characters coming. Sasha Banks, who is a wrestler.
I think Sabine Wren.
You think she's going to play Sabine Wren?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, she's in the trailer.
But we don't even know if that's actually Sabine.
No.
At this point, it's all speculation, and that's the fun of this.
Another Mandalorian has to show up at some point to tell us how Gideon got the Darksaber.
Yeah, 100%.
Because that's the other thing. It's like, ignoring all of the shit that happens in between episode 1 and episode, I think it was 8 episodes. So between 1 and 8, someone needs to show up because we are leading to that fight against Gideon.
Yeah. And do you think because like they will go into a little bit of story on do you think that they will end up on Mandalore?
I'd like them to end up on Mandalore.
At least like having the Darksaber being returned to Mandalore, because you got to think like there must have been a second siege on Mandalore if they had to take the Darksaber again.
Yeah. Look, there is Mandalore is decimated. At this point. There is no Mandalore.
Yeah.
So the Empire barraged it. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's a desolate place. Yeah. There may be a hideout there, but the whole point of the Darksaber is it kind of makes you the ruler of Mandalore.
Yeah.
So I can't see a situation where at some point Mando is not holding it.
Mando has to wield the Darksaber.
But I also would wager that he's going to give it to somebody else.
I think he's going to give it to somebody who, because I'm assuming Mando doesn't want to be ruler of Mandalore. I'm assuming he's going to give it, or at least if there is going to be Jedi in this season.
Yeah.
I feel like, and if Mandalore is decimated, there's no point to rule a place that has no one to rule.
He's going to give it to Sabine.
He's going to give it to Sabine, or he's going to hand it over to the Jedi because the Mandalorian who made the Darksaber was a Jedi. Or he was a...
Look, then he's not going to give it back to the Jedi.
You don't think he's going to give it to the Jedi?
No, because the Mandalorians don't like him. and it's more a Mandalorian artifact than it is a Jedi artifact. But if he gives it back to Sabine, that echoes the scene in Rebels where Sabine says like she's dedicated to the rebellion,
right?
And she passes the Darksaber on to someone else,
right? Okay.
So the estimated, I was watching a thing on this the estimated timeline is that, so we know that, I think following the Battle of Endor, the Empire launched an assault on Mandalore.
Right.
To wipe out the Mandalorians.
Right.
It is suspected that Moff Gideon led that assault.
And you reckon he was the one who took
So they reckon he killed the chick who's, I can't remember what, Saul Vizsla or something?
Yeah.
They reckon he's the one who, if not killed, took the Darksaber from the chick that Sabine gave it to.
Yeah.
Therefore, if Mando kills Gideon and gets the Darksaber, he'll give it back to Sabine.
Okay. See, that oh my god, the Darksaber has been all over the galaxy at this point.
And you know what? We know nothing about it.
No, we don't. All we know is that it was made by a Mandalorian.
Who was a Jedi.
Who was a Jedi. It was made as a weapon, not as kind of like a spiritual connection to the Force.
We know that it was, after he died, it was kept at the Jedi Temple until the Mandalorians broke in and stole it.
Yep.
And then it disappeared. Well, no, it just got passed down to...
It ended up in the hands of Death Watch at one point.
Well, he is the descendant of the Jedi
who the leader of Death Watch.
Yeah.
And then Maul became the leader of Death Watch.
And then Maul beat him in combat and became the leader of Death Watch, had the Darksaber.
And then
the Darksaber got taken to Dathomir.
Yep.
And then you see it in Rebels, and that's where Sabine takes it, who gets trained to use it.
Yep.
By Kaden.
Yep.
And then she goes back to help Mandalore get free, and then she passes it off to... No, and then it gets stolen by that dude who's fucking Saxon something or other. He's working for the Empire.
Yep.
And then she takes Ezra's lightsaber and beats him in combat. Because they won't take her seriously because she took it, she didn't win it in combat.
Yeah.
So then Saxon steals it, she wins it in combat, and then she hands it off and goes back to the rebellion.
Yeah.
And then the Siege of Mandalore, and then Gideon gets it. We assume that is the full timeline.
Yeah.
That we know of. We don't know why it's black, what energy it does, or... We do know that it's got like a white crackling sort of lightning effect around it.
It does.
Apparently, that will intensify the angrier the wielder is.
Really?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Science facts.
That is just...
Made up science facts.
Made up science facts. That's why we love Star Wars, because you can just keep adding to it. You can do whatever you want with it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Darksaber just kind of have like... It just has like this aura of... of mystery around it. And I think that's why everybody likes it so much. Because everybody knows about lightsabers, but no one knows about the Darksaber. Because the Darksaber is just its own entity in itself. Someone
also because it's one of a kind.
Yeah. But it was made by a one of a kind Jedi.
Having said that,
yeah.
There was artwork for the new High Republic stuff, and there's a bunch of like Jedi stood next to it.
Yeah.
The guy on the far right of that picture is holding a black lightsaber.
That is cool. You got to think like someone asked me the other day is like what's the difference between a lightsaber and a darksaber, and I honestly couldn't say. I think
lightsaber is a lightsaber. It is used as it's a spiritual weapon.
Yeah.
A darksaber is a sword.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is a lightsaber. It's not used... So, a lightsaber is a force beacon, like focus.
Right.
So, traditionally it works by focusing your force. Like, that's how you create a lightsaber. You put a kyber crystal in a hilt that's with all the power invoked and all that shit.
Right.
And then you channel your force energy into it. And that activates the kyber crystal and turns it on. The Darksaber doesn't do that.
Right. It doesn't...
It wasn't made by channeling force energy into it.
Yeah. It was.
We don't know what it did,
right?
Or how it got it to work, or what. We just know that it's not a lightsaber.
No, it was made. It was made for killing. Like that. It was made for the purpose
by a warrior for battle. That's what it was for.
Yeah.
In a time where battle wasn't really a thing.
Yeah, but like, and then later on down the track, Anakin did the same thing during the Clone Wars, where he, after his first lightsaber was destroyed, in canon, he made his next lightsaber shorter. Like, he made it shorter and he made it more combat worthy. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
He made it more combat worthy, and the council wasn't really on board.
No, so they got the shits because it's supposed to be like a spiritual weapon. It's there as a display piece rather than and the last resort. And Anakin built his lightsaber to be a weapon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like apparently a lot of Jedi then copied that. They had their lightsaber and then they had a battle lightsaber.
Then you got Mace Windu, who has bad motherfucker written on his
we know what happens to Anakin later on.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think that's an intelligence move. I think you're going into war. You don't need a spiritual.
Yeah, it's like going into war.
You don't need a ritual piece. You need a weapon.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like going into war with a cross. Like, you don't go into war with a cross. You go into war with a fucking sword.
Well, it's a bit like that. It's like if we went to war and I sent you into battle with a musket, but everyone else was going to battle with an M15.
Yeah, I suppose. It's like
you might be able to get a couple of them.
It's like
you're probably gonna die.
It's like, I need a weapon. You have a weapon. This is a musket.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm actually really proud of us. We have not been diverged completely off the topic. We are still in Star Wars. But
funny that. One subject we've managed to stay on was Star Wars.
But like, are we going to talk a little bit more about like the first episode, or are we going to talk like just purely about like just theories on Boba Fett?
I'm happy with theories. I don't think we should spoil too much.
I don't think we should either. I think like if you guys haven't watched the first episode, and we just watched the second episode, the first episode really does like it sets
just drops
the tone.
You straight back.
It drops you straight back into it, and it really does set the tone for season 2. It's like, okay, so this is what we have to expect now.
Yeah.
And like in the first, and I do have that respect for like Dave Filoni and like
Big John,
John Favreau, Taika Waititi, and like all those guys for not barraging everybody with just a fuckload of Easter eggs.
But they are also there. Like every now and then something goes up and we're like, it was the thing.
It's like, that was from there, and this was made by that person, and this was over here. So
even the guy who was wearing Mando's armor is from the books.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is you and my brother. Like, you said it first. You go like, that guy's from this novel, and then like the second we watched it, because my brother was asking me all week. It's like, have you watched it yet? No, I haven't. Fucking watch it.
That was funny, because we were both waiting for each other.
Yeah.
But then neither of us were home at the same time until like the Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. And at that point, it had already been a whole week, and it was just getting really annoying. I just wanted to watch it, and then I.
Do you know what? It had been 3 days. It just felt like a week.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. A week to a Star Wars fan feels like a fucking year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I can't imagine not seeing like a Star Wars thing within sort of 4 days.
Yeah. Come to think of it, it's hard to believe that we waited. How long did we wait for Episode 7 to come out? 10 years?
Yeah, was it 2015 it came out?
2015?
Yeah, a decade.
Yeah, we waited 10 years. How the fuck could we wait for 10 years?
We just rewatched the originals and the prequels over and over and over and over and over again.
I suppose at that point we had no idea that like the new trilogy was even coming.
No, I think we watched Rise of Skywalker when it first came out on DVD.
Yeah.
And that was the last time we watched a Star Wars movie, which is the longest we've gone without watching a Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because we were rewatching all of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
So back to Star Wars.
But like, yeah, no, the new episode really does set the tone for like the new season, where it's going to go, and then the second episode just kind of it immerses you more into the world and shows you like what's been happening since the fall of the Empire.
Yeah.
And also like you kind of do, and it kind of takes me back to like the last episode. Is it the last episode or the first episode where he's talking to, the guy who talks like this? I can't remember the name of the actor. So he talks like this, a Mandalorian. I'll tell you one thing about that guy in 1 second, but he says some Mandalorian, and it stuck with me for a really long time, is that ever since the fall of the Empire, have you seen anything except for chaos? All I noticed is when the Empire was around, there was peace.
Oh, yeah, that guy. That was the end of the last season.
That was the end of the last season. And he kind of does he makes a valid point. There was underground, like there was, underground, there were the huts, there was malls, underground society.
Oh, the fucking Red Dawn.
What are they called? We're both blanking on it.
Is it not Red Dawn?
No, it's...
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn. The Crimson Dawn, you had
right.
The huts, they were gone.
No, the huts were there.
The huts...
The issue was, right, is that they go, there was all this peace. Actually, what happened was the Empire just let crime happen as long as they got a cut of the profit.
Yeah.
So they weren't a government, they were a crime syndicate.
Yeah. But and the guy the guy makes a valid point. This is now that the only law, law in the galaxy is gone, it's chaos. Everybody is struggling for power. Bounty hunters are there's bounty hunters, scavengers, there's bandits, pirates, all this kind of stuff, and
But it was all there before.
It was all there before, but the Empire had a hand on it. This is you guys can do whatever you want as long as we get a cut from this.
Yeah, but it's a power vacuum.
Yeah,
that's always going to happen.
And the Empire was at the top of that power vacuum, and then
the Empire was filling the hole.
Yeah.
So when they took it out, it creates a power vacuum because it's the same. It happens. This happens in real life all the time. When there's a series of gangs in an area.
Yeah.
But one is strictly in charge.
Yeah.
If something happens to that gang, killed by a rival gang, whatever, it creates a power vacuum where then all of the other gangs are but we could be the new one. So it just creates this absolute all-out war.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's there are theories in that the Americans, the government, the US government did it with the mafia for a really long time where they policed a lot of it, but the mafia got away with a lot of low-end to medium-end crime.
Yeah.
Because to get rid of them would have made it so much worse.
Yeah. Well, to go to war with the mafia.
If they'd gotten rid of the mafia, all of the other gangs who worked for the mafia, and different factions and shit, would have just gone to war with each other.
Yeah.
Over who was going to take the mafia spot.
Yeah, pretty much.
You might as well just leave the mafia there.
Yeah.
Let them get away with guns and drugs and shit, but don't let them get away with murders and stuff. And draw the line further into it than you would with most people.
The thing is, the mafia is still around today, but it's nowhere near as prominent as it was.
We assume.
That's
the thing. It's really easy now to hide shit.
Yeah, 100%. But that's what I'm talking about. That was the Empire.
Yeah, that was it. They were the mafia.
The Empire was the government. The mafia.
No, the Empire was the mafia.
The mafia and government at the same time. You have to admit that.
They were the government if the mafia was running the US government.
Yeah.
They were the JFK conspiracy.
They were the JFK conspiracy.
And the Jedi were JFK.
We're at 35 minutes. Do you want to keep going?
We should probably call it there, otherwise we're going to go really deep into the JFK murder conspiracy.
Probably, yeah.
It's real dangerous to think. And I've had enough of US presidents this week.
Yeah.
It's been a fucking nightmare.
We don't even live
I don't even live there. I've been there once, and I'm this is fucked.
Yeah.
My favourite tweet today was one this morning that was just what a year this week has been. And you're that's fair. Really struggling.
I just realised I didn't do the woohoo. Woohoo! So there you go, guys. Please don't get mad.
I'm feeling okay. That's good.
Fuck. Oh man, we don't even live in that country. We're like at first it was funny because we're betting on it. But
I did get sent a thing the other day that was like Trump supporters was like panicking, and then Biden supporters panicking, and then it was like a Aussie dude with like one of those cork hats on,
yeah.
And it's like Australians betting on the US election, and it's just this bloke holding a beer like having a laugh, and that's what it started at, and now I think the entire world is like, this is a superpower.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like that the entire time. It's just like everybody's like, yeah, we'll bet on the election. It's like, I don't think you understand.
And everyone's like, look at how hilariously, completely out of control America is. And you're like, that's a global superpower.
Yeah.
We should be worried about that.
And we're one of their allies, so if they do something, we gotta be there with them.
Because at the moment they're kind of acting like the drunk mate who starts a fight at the party and expects you to back him up.
What are we gonna do?
Well, I'm a big fan of doing what I do to the drunk guy at the party and just patting him on the back afterwards and going, you didn't really think about that, did you? Let's leave that there.
Let's let that just hang in the air for a bit.
Sink in. Alright, you can follow me on Instagram at Real Talk Right. You can follow me on Twitter at A Review by Lurch. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RealTalk_Pop Culture Discussions. We're on Spotify and YouTube at Real Talk Pop Culture Discussions. We're on Twitch at twitch.tv/Real Talk PCT Gaming. We have started gameplays.
We have
recorded some. They are coming.
They are.
I don't know when. We have also started work on our Super Smash Bros. Universe.
Yeah.
Which now that I think about it, we'll probably do a bit more work after this.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's been it.
Oh, and if you want to follow,
what a year this week's been.
It has been a year.
You can follow him everywhere. Jared Kidder 1.
You can follow me, everywhere. Jared Kidder 1, Twitter, Instagram.
We have actually started using Twitter.
We have
instead of just having Twitter accounts.
Pretty much.
Some stuff. So that's fun.
Stay tuned for some saucy content up on that Twitter.
Saucy bitches.
Some saucy bitches.
Yeah, that's it. As always, guys, keep it real.
And stay sexy.
And may the force be with you.
Always. You best believe that's going to be
the thumbnail. This is
the way. Yeah, you best believe that's going to be the thumbnail. Bye!